Good morning. The Committee on Parole's call to order today is Wednesday, March 15th, 8:25 a.m. My name is Brendan Kelsey, along with Mr. Honey Marabella, Mr. Pete Freeman will be your panel staff. Or see the DOC headquarters in Baton Rouge with staff. Please introduce yourself.
My name is Adam Alex.
Staff here. Yeah, staff at Baton Rouge. Please introduce yourself. Got a motion? Our remote location is DCI with staff and support at DCI. Please introduce yourself.
Deputy Warden James Wesley.
Donald Cavalier, clarification.
Destiny Jerry, Administrative Coordinator. Ashley Bradley, Records. That's it.
All right, ready for first case? Please introduce yourself, state your name and DOC number for the record.
Adam Alex, 222124.
All right, Adam, you heard the introductions. We'll have a parole limit to ask you some questions. You can respond. At the end, you can take a vote. You understand the process?
Say it again.
We'll have a parole interview, ask you some questions. You can respond. At the end, you can make a statement. We'll take a vote. Do you understand the process?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and we have Enrico Alex and Heather Alex. They'll be just here in support. Be listening. Alex, Adam Alex, DOC number 222124, your third class offender. Parole eligibility date 7/25/2023. Good time date 9/12/2024. Full term date 4/25/2025. 7 years. Second degree kidnapping. Does that sound correct?
Yes, sir.
Would you answer Mr. Freeman's questions, please?
Okay, Mr. Alex, how old are you?
57.
Okay, and how long have you served on this charge?
4 year, 11 months.
5 years, we can say, okay. What's your educational level?
8th grade.
Okay, I've read your police report and what went down. Tell me in your words, what happened with Miss Morgan?
Okay, I went on a job, and after I got off of work, I decided to call Miss Elzoro, and the conversation wasn't going too good. So I decided to take a ride to Lafayette. I was in Kentucky, and I decided to take a ride to Lafayette to find out why she did what she did. So I decided to take a ride. After I got there, I waited a while until the nighttime. And I decided to take a ride by the motel. And I seen El Zorro and a man friend coming out the motel. So I didn't tell her nothing. I didn't have no intention of hurting her anyway. So I took a ride. I went home. I waited till the next day, and I took a ride on her job, which I shouldn't have did that. I should have called, but I went anyway. And all I wanted to know was why. And I never got no answer. So her friends tell me get away from the job. So I got away from the job. I waited by her car, and I waited for her to come to her car. As she came to the car, she got in the car. I got in with her. So we was driving down the road. So I was trying to convince her to go talking somewhere, just she and I. But she decided she wanted to go across the street. So I said, okay. So we go across the street, and her friends was there, and the cops was coming. So we jump out of the vehicle, and she took off running towards her friend, and I jumped back in her car, and I left, which I shouldn't have did that. You know, I take full responsibility for my action, but I know I shouldn't have did that, but I did it. I didn't want to come to jail, so I left in her vehicle, and as I was rolling down the road, I decided to bring the car back. I called her. I said, there's no need for me to do that. I'm doing the wrong thing already. So I brought the car. I called her and tell her come pick up her car. And after this, I waited for about 2 weeks. before I went to jail. I went turned myself in, but I decided to go to her house. I really wanted to know why. I never got the answer why, but that's okay.
Keep
Why
saying why,
she
what,
did what she did.
what she did,
Like she cheated on me.
okay?
I said she was with her man's friend.
Okay, let me stop you because your story is just totally opposite in all of the witness stories, totally opposite in the arrest report. According to the arrest report, you went over there, you pulled a knife, ordered her in the car, and then you drove away. She tased you and tried to take off running. You beat her, and when you heard the sirens coming, then you took off. You need to tell me the truth, because if you don't tell me the truth, I'm not gonna grant you, I can promise you. And that story is just way too far off. They got something about an iPhone you had bought her that you wanted back and all kind of stuff. So is what you telling me right now, your version, what you think is the truth?
This is the truth. I just didn't come out with it. But then I never had a knife. I really didn't have no knife.
Did you beat her?
No, sir.
Okay. Was there any drugs involved?
No, sir.
The law enforcement, the DA, the sheriff, and the chief are opposed. Unopposed is Heather Alex, your sister-in-law, and your brother, El Rico. I think I got that right. What is gonna be your transition plan? Where you gonna live? Where you gonna stay if we were to let you out?
Okay, I'll go to my little brother's house at El Rico, and I have a job, sir.
Where's that at? What town is that in?
That's in St. Martin Parish.
I don't want you in St. Martin Parish. You have anywhere else you can go?
That's in Onaville somewhere back there.
All right, the victim is strongly opposed. She's scared, and I can see why. Classes you took, living in balance phase 1 and 2 in Cage of Rage. You took anything else?
I took the AA.
Okay. You got a drinking problem?
No, sir.
Okay, you just took it, okay.
Sir.
What about, you got 0 disciplinary write-ups, which is good. You're medium custody. Got a good institution record. Your risk is low. Your risk is moderate. Your needs is low. Warden, is there anything you could tell me about him, Mr. Allen?
Mr. Pete, he's been here since November, this go around, and like you said, he don't have any disciplinary problems. He is enrolled in the literacy program trying to obtain his GED. But other than that, he causes no problems but here.
Okay. Thank you. I have no further questions.
All right, would you like to make a statement on your behalf?
No, sir.
Okay, I'm prepared to vote.
Yes.
Pete?
Okay, Mr. Alex, I'll be quite frankly, which I don't believe the story whatsoever. I think a lot more went on between you two. Therefore, I vote to deny until you can realize what you've done and take responsibility for what you've done. I vote to deny.
Mr. Marabella?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm looking at your criminal record. You've got a lot of violence in your past. You've been arrested for domestic abuse, battery, aggravated battery. You do things violent. You've taken a couple classes while you've been in prison this time, and I agree with Mr. Freeman. I mean, you're just not telling the truth here. I think you need support programs. I think you need to look inwardly and figure out what's wrong and why you're doing things you do. And I think you need some anger. So you took anger management, but I don't know that you actually finished it. You didn't get credit. So I don't know that you finished that program or not, but I think you need to take some programs, and I think you need to look inwardly and try to figure out why you do what you do. And the next time you come before this board, by all means, be honest, because we've got all of the police. We know what happened. We're just checking to see if you're going to be honest. My vote likewise.
Well, you have 2 votes to deny. I'm also going to vote to deny for the same reasons. I encourage you to keep taking classes to work on the literacy, see if you can get more than a GED. But today you've been denied, 3 votes to deny. Good luck to you. And we'll adjourn at DCI 8:36. Thank you.
Yeah, in my opinion, I would say that is a good deny. It is, these are the kind of cases that you read about in the paper where the person gets out of jail and then goes and kills someone, and then you're like, how did they let him out? And I say that just because it's scary when someone can't have the insight of what they do in when it comes to like the stalking style relationships. What is he? He's 57 years old. This is not like a young kid. He has gotten a 7-year sentence for second-degree kidnapping, which was a plea deal. I can't find any information on the case because it was a plea deal. So there's no trial. There was no, I don't have access to the police report. But, in his words, what happened, they said, in your words, tell us what happened. So he just happened to see her walking out of a motel room with the guy. Then he just wanted to go to her work to talk to her. Not a big deal because, that's completely normal. And, wanted to go for a ride in her car. Then, what was it? The police were coming, so they got out of the car, and then he took her car and then realized that he shouldn't, so he brought the car back, and then a week later, he turned himself in, and they're like, okay, right. I mean, that's your perspective. Now, the police report says that you kidnapped her at knife point. She tased you. You beat her. Before she finally got away. Holy cow. And then he's like, all I wanted to do is talk. Do you remember there was that case on JCS where he kept saying, all I wanted to do is talk. All I wanted to do is talk. And then he beat her to death. What was the case of that name? It was like that frat boy. It's like he would just repeat for hours in the interrogation. All I wanted to do is talk. Well, she doesn't want to talk to you, guy. So, yeah, now you're in prison. And people who do that, it's it's a certain type of scary or dangerous, in my opinion, because it's this it just seems to be this overwhelming obsession. Nothing else in their life exists except that person, and then they have a rage and an anger. I mean, and they lose complete regard for themselves, of course, for that person. It's dangerous. And people with those type of instability, it's really, in my opinion, just like it's dangerous because it's like a ticking time bomb, because it's kind of like one of those things that's under the radar where, you know, you might offend, you get a slap on the wrist, you offend, you get a 7-year sentence, be good for a few years, but then eventually it's gonna turn into something much worse. It's not like those type of tendencies just disappear on their own, right? You would think you probably need some serious programs, like a lot of therapy to understand what it is that's causing you to snap. And without that kind of help, I don't see how it stops. And he will get out soon. You know, he what was it? His good time date is 2025. So he's gonna just get out. And that's scary too. You know, and she was in fear enough for her life to be carrying a taser. Think about that. And then that's another interesting note, just to talk about it. You know, a lot of these self-defense weapons are really like, I don't know what the word is, and it's but you know, and it's a question like, do you want to have to carry mace, right? Like I've always said, you know, you carry mace. Like my wife carries like a little bottle of mace, and I was like, ugh, like, is it really going to be effective? Like these little things that you buy, like it really would just piss someone off, right? Maybe in the best case scenario, if the wind is blowing in the right direction and everything works out, maybe you can buy you like a second or 2 seconds where you can, with those 2 seconds, somehow run somewhere. And same with the taser. It's like, unless it's like commercial grade, you know, how effective can it be where it just ends up really just pissing off your attacker versus helping you. So I mean, I always think it's good to not only just buy a self-defense thing, but then really understand how effective it is, and then think out how best effective it could be and how you would use it. You know, you got to play those things out and also understand the limitations of those self-defense tools. Just my little 2 cents. All right, that's it for my thoughts on this one. Also, I got a new light. Hopefully it's a little better. I've been reading feedback. Some of my things could use some more work. So I got a new light, and also realized this whole time, because I've gotten feedback that my mic is not that great, and I've heard that too. So I finally YouTubed how to use my mic, and I find out that my mic has been backwards this entire time. Apparently a lot of people do it, so I'm not the only one, but it's kind of silly that I've been recording all of these recordings and I never took like the 2 minutes to read the manual or just YouTube how it works. I mean, it was literally, I was using the mic backwards on the wrong setting, the whole thing. So hopefully things will be a little better moving forward. But with that, I will let you go.